Greetings, fam. This is Rom Wills about that business. Develop your skill set. Hey, look, this will be a quick video, but I know I'm talking about all these businesses and everything. T-shirts and food, hair, all that stuff. If you're trying to get a business going, or some outside thing, even if you don't want to have a business, for whatever reason you want to, be of service. You could be in the military, could be working in a hospital, working with somebody, or you might just say, I like just interacting with people, selling them things. You can be a salesperson, whatever you want to do in life. You got to develop your skill set. That's the first thing. See, you know what is funny to me? I'm not personally. I'm a so-so fan of franchising, but I check out franchising books and magazines and stuff like that just to see what's out there. And a reality is, a lot of people get a franchise and they fail. And the reason why they fail, they get a franchise in something that is not within their skill set. They might, they'll get something and, like, say they pretzels. No shade against anybody who has a pretzel franchise. But say somebody gets in it and they ain't the type who actually like to cook. You think that's funny? Or you think that's weird? I actually knew a guy. Now, I met the guy when he sold me a car. Like one of those, he had a little car lot and everything. He was a cool guy. He was a pretty cool guy. The car was a piece of shit, but, it was, at the time, it was like one of those, put some money down, pay a month, don't need to look at credit thing. It is what it is. Eventually, he failed at that business, or he got out of it. Probably got out of it. A lot of people didn't like to pay him. But then I remember seeing him around here. He had a yogurt shop. And I was like, yeah, that's an interesting transition. I don't think that yogurt shop lasts 6 months. And it was right in a busy enough shopping center, right? But the thing was, that probably wasn't his thing. See, you want to develop your skill set to apply to whatever you're going to do. Don't just jump into something just because it look good and you don't have the skill for it. Like, you might want to open a little store and stuff, but say you got some knickknacks you want to sell. Knickknacks, that's what my son will say. Like, if he goes into a junkie house or something, he say they got too many knickknacks in here. He can't stand junk. He'll probably be a minimalist. But I digress. But check it out, though, right? You trying to sell stuff, but you don't have the skills of a salesman. So, in any endeavor, you have to develop your skills. I mean, seriously, you got to do what you got to do, regardless of what it is. If you got to work in, like, that particular industry, or you have to study, take some classes, whatever you have to do. If you want to get into business doing something, or any vocation in life, you got to develop the skills for it. And it has to be something you have some aptitude for. I mean, that's the bottom line. Because personally, I think that's a big reason why businesses fail. Because as a friend pointed out, right? He said many people get into business just because they don't, they just think they're going to make money and stuff. Or, their ego don't want to deal with that 9 to 5 that they can't stand. And they jump into something knowing they're not ready. They're not ready. And sometimes even in developing that skill set, you have to be realistic. It was like, have you developed that skill set to the point you can make money independently? Because that has to be the question, regardless of what business you're in. You know, can you sell stuff? When I'm, as you know, I've done some vending. About to get back into it. Actually, very good at vending. I'm very good at vending. Almost to the point I can give seminars on how to vend. But I had to develop that skill set. All right. I had to, and ironically, I didn't realize it at the time, but I had started back when I was in college, even though I didn't vend. But I remember there was an organization I was a part of on campus, and I was at, how you go to school, for those of you who've been to college, and you got organizations out there, and they trying to grab people. I was the one at the table grabbing them. I didn't realize, but that set it up years later, when I was doing some vending and, had to get people. And even then, I had to develop the skill set because there's a big difference between the very first time I vended something and the 100th time I vended something. Very big difference in how I approach things, how I approach people, how I catch people's eye, how I can I'll say this. I had to develop the skill set to draw people to my table. I've had, and especially if I'm sitting there by myself, if I see a woman walk by, I knew how to entice her. She could be the most gorgeous thing. I remember I met a very good friend that way too. I just waited because I saw her. I was at this thing. It was a women's event, right? And I saw her going around the tables. I ain't even reach out to her. I said, you know what? I had developed a skill set to read people well enough to know who's going to stop by my table. So I ain't even reach out to her. I just sat there and said, I'll just wait till she come around because she is coming around, right? Because there's, and I'll do, I think when I get around to being able to monetize videos, and I might do a special video, maybe even a hangout or something on vending. Because it's a necessary skill, but it's a skill I had to develop. Every skill you got. If you want to be like an artist who draws stuff, you have to develop that skill. Or, it's a popular vending thing or popular thing people sell is jewelry. And if say you want to make jewelry, right? You got to sit there and work on that skill. You got to make it better. You got to practice. So develop that skill set. All right, you got to work on it, y'all. Now, like I said, this ain't gonna be a long video because it's very simple, straight to the point. You want to develop that skill set before you try to start making money, because the better your skills at it, the better you are at doing whatever you do, the more money you make. So okay, y'all, let's go make that money.